Hello, everybody out there in YouTube land. Welcome, astrology friends and family. Welcome to August. Eclipse activity starts now, and also we are in the thick of Mercury retrograde shenanigans as my neighbor's mowing his lawn. Maybe I can edit this out later. Anyway, we're just going to go with it. Yeah, so we're dealing with a lot of planets in retrograde. The outer planets are in retrograde. We have Saturn, Pluto, Uranus will start to retrograde in September. Mercury will be retrograding August 4th, and we won't clear shadow period until somewhere near the mid of September. Also, we'll be getting into the Chiron retrograde soon as well, too. Okay, so let's try and have fun while we can. Leo season, the next few weeks are the time to really keep enjoying, especially with everything slowing down. Vacation when and where we can, time spent with children, having fun, theater, outdoor theater, concerts, putting yourself out there, leadership in the community. Don't be afraid to take those chances, put yourself out there, put your work out there, your creativity. Now's the time with all this goodness in Leo. Love Leo season. I'm an Aquarius rising, so naturally I'm always, loving all things Leo. They're my other end of the spectrum there. Okay, let's get into the eclipses because you will start to be feeling some of this eclipse activity. Now the eclipse will happen in September, but as you may already be aware, the feelings and rumblings of eclipse activity can start happening about a month before, and then it usually kicks off a new 6-month cycle until you have the eclipse in the opposite sign. What we're going to be experiencing is kind of the fading out of the Aries Libra eclipses. The last Libra eclipse will be in September, and the last Aries eclipse will be next March 2025. So we still have, several months to work on those themes of that axis if things haven't been accomplished yet in those areas. We also have Chiron still in Aries as well. Okay, so on September 17th, 2024, we're going to have a full moon partial lunar eclipse in Pisces at, let me check, 25 degrees. And this will be affecting those born with Pisces or Virgo placements anywhere from 21 to 29 degrees and 0 to 1 degrees of the cardinal signs, which are Cancer, Capricorn, mom and dad, Aries the warrior, and Libra the lover. All right, the eclipse will start to highlight all the things that are Pisces, Virgo, prior to the nodes shifting into those signs by next spring. We will have the nodes of fate and one last set of eclipses wrapping up, like I mentioned, on the Aries, Libra axis for the next 6 months. Okay, so knowing that, this activity can be felt now, I just kind of wanted to talk about that, especially with everything, so many planets being retrograde. Yeah, okay, so in the Pisces area of our charts is where we are going to see some of this activity. After having so much Aries self-directed energy over the past year, pushing us to take initiative and propelling us forward in that Aries part of our sky, and also healing a wound since Chiron has been there. We could have started to be aware of that and started working on that in the past year or so. And like I said, if you haven't done so yet or initiated something of great importance to you yet, don't worry. There are still several months left of this Aries Libra story, especially with Chiron and then also, the nodes of fate and the eclipses happening there as well. So what does this mean? So we will now be taking in and further integrating, the healing process, especially with Pisces and Neptune coming into the picture, forcing us to kind of slow down and integrate those changes that have been coming in internally or externally, slowly or rapidly over the past year. Rahu, the North Node, can speed things up. If you started your own business, for example, that would be like a very self-initiated Aries type of thing. Now and in the next year and a half, you could be developing like a sacred space in your home or devoting a special space to work in that, you can paint and decorate, plants, Doesn't have to be just for business either. It could be a sacred space you use just as your own, like getaway, quiet time to meditate, rest, writing, creativity, listen to music, to I don't care if you just go there to daydream. It will be a really great thing to do. All right, and though, although with Saturn here in Pisces until 2026, he's structuring those dreams to help you make them come true. So any kind of like blockages you feel that you may come up against with Saturn there in Pisces, it's only to slow you down to make sure that the things that you're putting into place are solid and stable and can withstand the test of time. That's what Saturn likes anyway. The other end of this axis is Virgo, and Virgo will help you. Virgo will help you organize yourself to make those Pisces creative dreams come true. You know, you can pull your projects out of the ethers and put them onto paper, to film, to clay, to actual music, to whatever it is that is your creative inspiration or muse. Lunar eclipses also can be a very emotional time. They can trigger relationship endings or breakthroughs, and even good breakthroughs can be emotional. I feel this time and over the next year and a half, we can really find our way through that Aries wound that we've had, or maybe we didn't even realize that we had it. For example, like maybe you, Chiron in Aries has been transiting through your second house of self-worth and your face and your earnings, your bank account, what you put into your mouth, and maybe you realize you didn't know that you had a bad habit relating to food, and it's kind of come up to be looked at over the past year or so. Maybe you have an allergy that you found out you had and you didn't know it based on what you were eating, and now you have this time to kind of start integrating those changes. Pisces is very healing, heal your body or whatever might have ailed you. So we could really maybe start to make progress in standing up for ourselves as well. Aries is a warrior. Is not afraid of standing up for himself, herself. We can also have been learning how to not be codependent, and maybe we're starting to make our own money instead of depending on another. Maybe we're healing long-standing relationship issues or issues about self-worth, your body, your identity. These types of healing changes can be very emotional and even in a good way. And if you haven't, like I mentioned, seen these changes yet, not to worry. We still have several months left with the nodes of fate, Chiron, and the eclipses here to help you quickly make changes for the better in the Aries Libra part of your sky. Kind of grand finale next March 2025. This Pisces eclipse is the first in the cycle, and it's possibly just highlighting or giving that first little nudge of awareness or discontent around emotions, spirituality, relationships, as full moons and lunar eclipses can relate to relationships, your home, your family, motherhood, mothering, as the moon rules Cancer. And anytime you have lunar eclipses, you always kind of look to the Cancer part of your sky and see how that area is being triggered at that time as well. Crisis can happen as we are made aware of imbalances in these areas as well. Some relationships can end for new ones to begin if there's been trouble in those areas. And on the other side, if there have been problems that are being brought to light at the time of this full moon, there may be a path forward to find some healing, and maybe you can grow and progress together if that is something that you're in a relationship and you would want to work on. There can also be fulfillment of creative projects or drama at the time of the full moon, especially with it being the first in this new eclipse cycle. You can also get sudden dreams, downloads, or inspirations about creative projects, music, acting, film, etc. How to help maybe marginalized peoples, issues with the ocean, or maybe you want to start a nonprofit or become part of a nonprofit that helps ocean animals or comes up with fishing net solutions or oil spills. And really interesting note on that, just to kind of show you how the stuff is already starting to come into play, is I went to go get my hair trimmed the other day, and what I found out was kind of cool is that they charge an extra $2, a $2 fee when you're getting your hair, cut colored, whatever. And what they do is they use the clippings from the salon to make these hair mats that then are used to soak up oil spills in the ocean. And they're really effective at it as well. They just kind of, and there's a video you can watch online where you can see that, there's the oil spill, which is horrible. And they put these like hair mats in and it just kind of sucks it up. So already we're going to start seeing these types of things come to the forefront, which I'm really excited about because who doesn't love the ocean, right? Know that if you do come up with or receive, inspiration downloads, that you should act on them not at the time of the full moon, but act on them as in like writing them down. Keep a pen or your tablet or whatever it is you use to write on at the ready starting now. Know that these will be divinely guided, divine downloads. I don't think there'll be anything coincidental about this. Also, with this being the Pisces Virgo axis, and Virgo rules health and organization and service, work, pets, we could have health challenges that might come up to the surface at this time to be healed, or we could have endings to jobs that no longer serve our well-being, with new paths being illuminated to more fulfilling work, or spiritual paths might come through. Maybe you find a need in your community and you decide, you know what, I'm done with administrative work and I want to create my own or nonprofit or become a founder of my own nonprofit and helping children in my community who suffer from, not having enough to eat or clothing or school supplies. And you can start a small movement there, and that would be a really beautiful thing to do. So just an idea. Okay. Also, what are some other things that could happen? This is also the other end, because we're talking about the 6th house and the 12th house axis. 6th house also represents small pets, and that's in the Virgo house. A pet can have issues or pass at this time if they've been struggling with health issues, but also a new one can come in. New fated pet, and fears and addictions can come up at this time as well. 12th house does represent addictions, and we can find ways to heal our mind, especially with Virgo at the opposite end. We can look for and find a great and destined healer at this time. The Virgo axis can also help you get organized and clean up that area of your life if you are suffering from addictions or bad health habits, and get yourself pulled together, especially if you were in your head too much, or also if you've been unable to pull your dreams, out of the ethers or from your Neptune haze. Those ideas and dreams can get lost up there. And Virgo's really good at solidifying things and making it happen. Excuse me. Let's see. Sometimes Virgo does strive for perfection and it can hamper our creativity. So we'll be working on trying to strike that balance, right, of the creativity and the day-to-day work, and trying to balance the two. At this time, you can, and especially now, right in August, we can start meditating. Anything with like water therapy would be good. Prayer, if you pray, and it doesn't have to be religion, it could be whatever God you pray to. Epsom salts, you could clean up your auric field leading up to this full moon. I always suggest safest bet is nature, rest, sleep. I always try to aim for like 7 or 8 hours, and it's almost always a win, especially preparing for those jitters that you can start to get during eclipse activation periods. Having magnesium to root yourself down a little bit and to kind of root down and anchor your nervous system. Magnesium rich foods like black beans and sweet potato and stuff like that. But always check with your doctor or your dietitian if you have any kind of health issues, or if you're unsure if you can eat those types of things. You can also make little simple changes to your diet, like more water, fresh fruits, chemical free food, vegetables. Try to do like a no alcohol. I know that might be hard for some, in these last beautiful weeks of summer that we'll be having. It's hard at barbecue or hanging out at the beach with friends, but maybe you can make a mocktail, something like that. Start working on a creative project. That's another great way to use this energy. Jot down those major insights that can happen now. And this is also a really kind of interesting period where loved ones who have crossed over may start to appear or send messages to you in odd ways as the veil begins to thin. These are just some of the ideas that I'm giving you, and I will describe what the beginning of this new cycle means for each of you in all of the 12 signs, and I will also probably talk more in depth about it the closer we get to the eclipse and, as we proceed with this, the shifts of the nodes and everything else. So, yeah, all right, well, let's get started.
Hello, Leo, Sun, Moon, and Rising. The eclipse activity in September, the partial lunar eclipse, and will also be happening with a full moon in Pisces at 25 degrees in your 8th house of deep intimacy, shared resources, investments, loans, rebirth, and transformation. And the other end of this axis is your 2nd house in Virgo, which rules land, farming, your face, mouth, throat, what you eat, your diet, bank accounts, luxury goods, self-worth, what you earn, what you value. There could be big, major endings, new beginnings around these topics, and they can start to happen now, starting in August and over the next year and a half. Maybe the way that you deal with intimacy with a partner can be dramatically changing around this time, or you could have a wake-up call around your assets and investments. Money that you share with another can be highlighted for better or worse. It can also show the cracks at the time of this partial lunar eclipse of where things need to change. These are also very tangible, money-oriented, and sensual houses involving the 2nd and 8th, so keep that in mind. Also, there may be an emphasis on protecting your money via wills or legal documents. You can also become very motivated to succeed out in the world and increase your money houses by seeking increase in increasing your employment or education to increase financial prospects. You may be learning about investing or want to invest more wisely now and over the course of the next year and a half. On August 4th, Mercury will retrograde until August 27th in Virgo, your 2nd house, and will go back into your 1st by mid-August, while the Sun is also still on your ascendant, and Venus is still here as well, about to leave the next day. The new moon at 12 degrees on August 4th in your 1st house, or conjuncting your Sun or Moon, could be new beginnings about your emotions, your appearance, your body, where you live. Maybe you updated or are updating your wardrobe to look and feel better, trying a new look with your hair, maybe a new cut or style or color. You could also be very much in the public eye at this time, or simply just getting noticed more, simply for just being you, because, you're a Leo, now and over the next few weeks until August 22nd. You could be on the move or traveling with Mercury heading back towards your 1st house. And this moon in Leo, 12 degrees, will be trining the North Node and Chiron in Aries in your 9th house. What does the 9th house hold? It holds long-distance travel, foreigners, publishing, doctors, lawyers, contracts, marriage contracts can fall here as well. Maybe you're getting married and it changes your identity, so now you become, instead of the single person, you're Mr. or Mrs., or you could be making plans to travel now and will travel over the next 6 months for a long-distance travel. Maybe you're going to start something new around your appearance or where you live. You could possibly be teaching as well within the next 6 months. You could be healing a Chiron wound around education or higher education, your thoughts and beliefs, about yourself or about, your principles or religion. You could be publishing a book, changing your philosophy. A fated teacher or doctor actually could have appeared and helped heal self-limiting beliefs and how you look at yourself. And now you'll simply be presenting a more confident and different version of yourself. You could also publish a book, like an autobiography, since we're talking about these new beginnings in your 1st house and the 9th house of the public and publishing. On August 5th, Venus moves into Virgo, your 2nd house, further highlighting this money story here and setting up this activity for this upcoming fall eclipse. On August 7th, Venus will conjunct Mercury at 3 degrees in your 2nd house again. This house is really lit up, and there could be sudden money-making opportunities. Or maybe you're having like a facial procedure or something with your teeth, like whitening, overall making you look more appealing, especially in the face. The dates that this aspect will be in effect will be August 5th through August 10th, exact on August 7th, and be felt most with 0 to, I would say, like 8 or 9 degrees of Venus, Mercury, Virgo placements, or if you're Sun, Moon, or Rising Leo, from those 0 to 8, 9 degrees. This aspect could be money coming into your bank account, or your money could be growing from like a previous investment, or maybe a written contract or a job from the past. And I say from the past because we're in Mercury retrograde season. Could be interior design work you've been doing, or something along the lines of like communication and money using your voice, or possibly investment news or opportunities could be coming up around these dates. Again, the 5th through the 10th, coming exact on the 7th. It could even be, a little bit overindulgent. This is a Taurus house, the second house. For you, it's Virgo, but on the wheel of astrology, it's ruled by Taurus. So we could watch with indulgence at this time: too much food, too much drink, too much wine. But ultimately, anything that comes in could have you feeling pretty good, and even increasing your self-worth at this time. You could also have happy times with family as well. Now, as the second house can represent immediate family, and also possibly wealth through a family business. On August 19th, the full moon at 27 degrees Aquarius in your 7th house opposes you. This is the me-we axis, and it's in the 7th house of other. So something can come up with a partner at this time. And if it's not a partner, it can be like a business partnership with a group of people, because this is Aquarius. And maybe it could be around an internet-based project if it's a business. I feel this may be difficult and possibly an emotional full moon, as we are talking about the emotions which are tied to the moon and ruled by Cancer. The new moon was all about you, and this one is all about the other. So it's time to strike a balance with another, be it in love or partnership. Some partnership difficulties or tests can come up at this time, but if something does, especially in love, know that it can help clear the air and make space for a chance to connect more deeply with that person once everything comes up and is aired out. Alternatively, your partner may be the one dealing with something difficult at this time, and they may need your support. This affects late degree Leos from about 22 degrees and up. And also know that, as emotional as it can be at the time of a full moon, the moon moves very quickly. And on August 22nd, I'm happy to say that the sun moves into your 2nd house of Virgo, further lighting up those previous topics that I had mentioned, where Venus already is and will remain for a few more days. I believe she stays in this house, the 2nd house, until the 29th of August. If there were any partnership difficulties in love or business that came up at the time of the full moon, you'll have the support of family, affection, and their love over the next few weeks. You could also be in the spotlight as well for your elegant speech, or the way that you use words or communicate. Maybe you're in theater or an actor, or you do voice acting. Maybe you're just more focused on money, family, land and property, and wealth potentials, or even contracts at this time. But because Mercury can rule contracts, just be careful not to sign anything. You can look at it, review it. If it is something old that comes up, an old contract to be reviewed, it may be okay to sign. I would just make sure you have your lawyers or other professionals look it over before you do. I would say right around September 12th, we should clear that Mercury retrograde shadow. On August 27th, Uranus and Taurus up in your 10th house of career, reputation, father figures, and status in the world, in your title, will trine over to your 2nd house. Again, this is being discussed, your Virgo house, with Venus here, indicating money gains from work you're doing out in the world or on the world stage. And if you're a Leo rising, it might literally be on stage. You could be receiving sudden positive shocking attention at this time. You could get sudden positive money news around contracts, but again, hold off on signing anything until September. A job offer, and it would probably be a pretty lucrative one, can come through an important Capricorn or father-like figure. They could be instrumental in helping you gain a prestigious job or career advancement, or they could even be putting in a good word for you. Whatever it is, I think it's really going to be pretty positive, and this will be a fantastic way to finish off the month, Leo. And once again, this will be kicking off with all this activity going on in Virgo, kicking off the prelude to that Pisces eclipse up in September, where, you know, the focus will start to be on those money houses, the 2nd and 8th. Take care, and we'll see you in September.